Good morning, Willie Mason Jar people. The camera will stop shaking in a minute. So here I am answering a question from Kim Hurt. Now, Kim wanted to know a little bit more about using the shade cards. There's one for every color that comes with your kit. And these are just samples of a number 4 value. If you look up here, you'll see shades W4, yellow, orange, shades, value number 4. So that means it's value number 4 on your card, which is always 1 teaspoon. Anytime you forget, just turn the back around and it shows you exactly what to do. So I'm going to do shade half a teaspoon in W4. So on the back it tells me to add a half a teaspoon of black to value number 4, which is 1 teaspoon of yellow orange. So that's pretty easy to do. So this card is for one single swatch or strip, which is 3 3¼ by 18 sort of thing. And so I'm going to get 1 teaspoon of W4. I've warmed these up already. I'm sorry for I keep touching this holder. Okay, 1 teaspoon of W4. I'm trying to do it all so that you can see. So that's all that is. And so when it says add black, you'll make a jar of black. I always make a jar of black, gray, and chestnut brown, and it's 1 gram per 1 cup of boiling water. And so on the card it said half a teaspoon of black, so I'll take a half a teaspoon and add it to the jar. Okay, I'm trying to look through a camera so it can be messy, but you won't be. Somewhere there's something to wipe it up. Okay, anyway, so what I'll do, I'll just put the wool in it. This is 1 strip. In it goes. And, whoops, I want it pretty even. So I'm stirring it. I have to stir it 25 one way and then 25 the other. That's my thing, but you'll decide what you want to do. I have one in the microwave cooking now, which I'm going to stir just to speed things up while I explain how to make the larger sizes. So we'll put this in there. And we'll take this one out and give it a stir while we're doing that. The magic of Hollywood. Okay, so before I make any more mess, I'll wipe these up with my ShamWow. Best thing I ever found. This one rag will replace about a whole thing of paper towels, which I don't use. I'm too aware of the environment to do that. Okay, so I'm going to give this a stir. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so you get the point. The reason I'm stirring so much is I want this in even color. If you don't want it in even color, and you want it something sort of mottled, like this, then don't stir it and use less water, and you'll get something mottled. But I'm pretty well trying to duplicate what's on this piece here. So while that's cooking, I'll explain how to do larger pieces. So I'm glad that Kim brought this to my attention, because I just assumed that everybody knew how to work the shades, but you know, we shouldn't assume, right? So I want you to use your shades in different ways, shades and tints. The older crowd, the first sets had tints and shades. I did 2 with gray and 2 with black, but I've since then moved to just black because it was just getting it was getting simpler. So now these are a number 4 value. If you want to look at these, I'm just going to switch the jars. Put this one there, and then this one back in. 2 minutes. Okay, so you see these are the putty colors somebody asked about. I think it was Jennifer Fleming. So these are putty colors. You see how muted they are? These are using the tints again. Instead of using black, these use gray. And I always keep a record on each swatch so that I can reproduce it. So for example, this is W1, which is the color red, and the swatch, the value is number 1. And A is my abbreviation for 1/4 teaspoon of gray. So all of these from 1 to 12 are the 1 values from the cards. Now if you want to see what they look like before, as on the cards, they're here. Okay, they're here. You see how bright they are? These are all number 1 values. This is a good size. This is 1 swatch as well, but it's a double swatch divided in half, and it's good for applique. But you see the difference. You see how it's toned right down. And the purples. See? And again, you can do the same. This is a number 3 value. See how it just turns everything into more or less primitive and antique looking colors. Okay, so, oh, there goes the phone. They'll just have to call back. So I'm stirring this. This is the one that I did in front of you, and it will be going back into the microwave when I take this one out. And then I'm going to put the citric acid in the one I just did, and it should be done. Okay. Okay, that's 2 minutes. Okay, so now I'm not going to bother to take this wool out. I used to in the beginning, so I'm just going to add this is a 1/2 teaspoon, so that's about 1/4 of it. Well, I guess there's so much gunk in there. So this is food grade, so it's not too strong. So I'm going to give this a good stir. And you see it's already picking up the color. And I don't know if you can see that with all the steam. Oh dear, never thought of the steam. I'll put it over here. But you see already just a little bit of color left in there, which would be the yellow. There's a lot of yellow, so that will just sit. And actually I'll put it back in the microwave for a minute, but you can see already that it's going to be very close to what the card says, and you know it dries lighter, right? So it will be this. Okay, so now I'm going to push that aside, and I will put it back in for 1 minute. Or if I didn't want to, where I see it's, I could just cover this. It's good and hot. I could just cover it and let it go. And in a 1/2 an hour or so, or 20 minutes, that'll be clear. So here's what I'm going to do from the sets going forward. I'm going to include, I don't know if you can see this, I hope so, this card. I made it yesterday, and it explains what to do. And on the back there's a conversion, you know, like how the sleeves are for the other one. But what you'll do with this is, this card is for 1 swatch. If you want 2 swatches or a 1/16 of a yard, just kind of do this, and then you'll see that it'll match up. It just, all it's doing is the math for you. If you want 1/8 of a yard, it'll be like this, and 1/4 of a yard this way, and then 1/2 a yard. And I'll include those with the kit. And I'll also put this on my website so that you can print one off yourself. This is just on paper, and I printed 2 off and put them together, and I used packing tape because I really can't afford to send one to everybody that you know, that I've sold a kit to. So if you want to do this, just take it and put packing tape over it, and then put a hole in it and attach it to your cards. I will add them in the future, and hopefully this helps. So the other one is ready for the acid, and this one is, I don't know if you can see, but I'll show you. It's almost clear. See? So I'll just let that sit, and we already know that it matches. Ouch. See? That's all there is to the shades. This is the one, a couple of people wrote this morning that they lost these cards. It's probably the most popular because it's such a nice brown. And I'm so sorry for all this shakiness, but I don't know how else to do it on my own. So anyway, there you go.